And I'm joined in the studio by my guest, the actor, comedian, singer and sports fan, Frankie Clarence, to talk about some of the big issues this evening. Thank you for joining me, Frankie.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
All right, we have to start with the Women's World Cup. I believe you've been watching it. Great stuff. Who has impressed you so far? I've
been really impressed. To be honest, it sounds very cliche, but the host, Canada, I did not expect them to deliver so well. Personally, I think Canada have shown that resilience, which a lot of people have taken for granted. A lot of people tend to say the usual, Germany, US, or the Brazil women's team. But as an underdog and dark horse, I've been impressed with what Canada's had to offer.
Why have you been impressed? What have they done that's made you think, oh my gosh, I wasn't expecting that?
Yeah, like resilience. They simply showed, like the first game, the opening game, they showed they were not pushovers, and it's really impressive. A lot of people tend to think that football, soccer as they pronounce it in North America, is only done in Mexico and USA. Not only the female team, but the men's team also stepping up. So it's good to see coexist in that federation that they're stepping up levels. So being very resilient and very professional.
And what about the individual players?
I'm only going to say that because I know her personally, but Liana Sanderson for England team, she's done me proud. She's put a whole shift in it, but maybe that's just me being biased, but as a performance, she's done very well so far.
I mean, like I said, you know her personally. How are things in the camp right now? How are they getting on?
I haven't spoken to her during the tournament. I spoke to her prior to it, like end of May. What I like about her, she's very enthusiastic and she's not scared to take on the whole world. And I think us people in the UK tend to, no one likes to step up as much anymore. And she's really seen a lot of growth. I know they've lost a lot of players since the Olympics, but they've really shown a togetherness. They want to prove people that they are capable, and development in women football in England is stepping up.
Good. Right, let's move on to the Copa America. And you just saw the package earlier on about the students protesting. Do you think there's a time and place for protests, or do you think they have a right to, voice their opinion at this tournament?
To be honest, I'm a bit shocked by it. I did research on Chile around about last few months ago. I know that the government put tuition free for a lot of their students, so I'm a bit shocked that they've now resorted into protests. I'm a bit disappointed by it, but I understand this is the time to do it because this is when essentially more eyes are on them because they're hosting an event, so they know they can get more coverage on a situation that's not really being attended to. So I share sympathy. Being a former student myself, I understand what they're going through.
Well, it happened at the Brazilian World Cup as well. You had a lot of protests. I mean, does it actually work, do you think?
Not in the sense of doing it in a violent way. I think there's many ways you can show, like, get your message across without making it such a cause of a scene. It's happened not only just any event, similar with the whole general election we just had, how we had protests over David Cameron winning. I remember there was protests with the whole Qatar workers there, South Africa World Cup. It's something that's going to happen in the past, probably going to keep going. It's just a shame that people are not being together in a time of an event where they can celebrate hosting an event.
Okay, well, what do you make of the whole FIFA scandal? I mean, talking about people rebelling against big constitutions. What do you make of the whole scandal?
Where do I start? That's the thing. It's a long story.
Let's start with Jack Warner for starting. Says, I had nothing to do with it. It's not my fault. And you just think, well, hold on a sec. It's kind of your fault. I mean, let's not think about the bush.
It's the easiest thing to do. It's FIFA in general. It's been going on for longer than people expected. You start hearing that it's been going on since the 90s. People think 90s was like few years ago. This,
no, when you actually think about it, you think, oh my gosh, how old was it?
We're getting old, I know.
Yes, we're getting old, too old.
But yeah, it's like 2 decades ago. And the thing that an institute that you trusted, something where you can, the beautiful game is not so beautiful anymore. And just hearing people say I'm not involved in it, it's kind of rubbing their dirty hands knowing that everyone knows the truth about it. It's a shame.
What do you think is going to happen next? How is it going to be resolved?
People are going to try and move on, but I think it's a thing where now that everyone knows, I think it's going to be people going to force it to remember, like, okay, why should we trust you when the situation hasn't been good in the first place? But people are going to move on, as we do, as society and humanity has shown us. Us as mankind, we always progress. There's no need to dwell too much. How do you expect to focus on the future if we're caring about the past?
Okay, Frankie, thank you very much. We'll see you in part 2 of the show. I'm joined in the studio by my guest, Frankie Clarence. We're going to start with athletics. And
I know what's coming.
Good. No, but you saw Usain Bolt's comments. Does he have anything to fear?
No, he hasn't. He's proven statistically he is the fastest man to ever grace the world. I think it's just a sense of just building a hype for the World Championships. I remember when he lost both his trials, 100 meters and 200 meters, against Jan Blake in the Olympic trials. Everyone was saying, oh, there's a new kid in the block. He tends to deliver when it most matters, so he'll be fine. But not to be too overconfident, because summer's coming. Yeah,
but he always does show up for the big events. But let's focus on Justin Gatlin. He seems to get faster now that he's older, and he's faster than now that he's clean. So do you think he's actually going to beat Usain Bolt? Do you think he's going to test him?
I love how you emphasize so much on the word clean there. So,
well, I assume. I mean,
but like I mentioned, he scientifically, a man's peak moment as a human body is when he's at the age of early 30, and that's the age Justin Gatlin is now. He's gone through a lot of trouble at the moment via social media, losing a lot of sponsorships, but
that's his own doing.
Yeah, of course, but like with every human, you know, we all make mistakes. So it's
but twice?
People are sometimes, he's a guy. Obviously, I'm pretty sure a lot of guys tend to make mistakes.
Yeah, but doping, it's obvious you're not allowed to dope.
You don't understand his circumstances, you know. So
what were his circumstances?
No, like personal, that's what I'm trying to make. What we see in the media does not necessarily illustrate what's going through his private life. It may be a forced infringement, maybe desperation. There's numerous reasons why a person does a consequence of his actions. So as people watching on the front side of it, we should not judge what's going on in the inside.
But can you understand why people might be against him coming back to the game, and especially getting a Nike deal as well after being found guilty or being caught doping twice?
Oh, that's for them sponsorships to deal with. If they want to be a part of that, that's for them to associate them with it. But he's done his time. So why should we still punish him for something where he's faced the consequences, he's done his ban, he's done everything that he deserved to get at the time, but now that it's surpassed, he's just doing what he loves, and that's running.
Okay, well, let's look at the positives. How is he getting on? I mean, we know that he's recorded the fastest time this year, but how is he doing personally? How is he dealing with it all?
Yeah, fortunate enough, I know him quite well during the London Olympics, and I spoke to him a fortnight ago. He's doing very well. He's really focused. He's very determined. He's currently doing all over Europe at the Diamond League. He's okay. He's very enthusiastic. I know the whole Team USA team as a whole are very, very confident after the relay. They beat Jamaica during the Bahamas relay. And yeah, they're all very confident, and they know what the task in hand, and they're ready to put USA back on the map on 100 meters.
Is he very confident ahead of Beijing?
He's confident. I don't want to say overqualified. I don't want to speak for him. I know he'll probably end up watching, but I got you, Justin. But he knows what needs to be done.
Okay, that's great. All right, now, if you're a little bit squeamish, this is the time to look away, because we're about to show you something, or someone breaking their arm live on television as they took part in an arm wrestling competition. It happened to the former Australian rugby league player Ben Ross. If you really don't look at it if you don't want to, as he took on another former player, Wendell Sailor, to raise money for charity. Ross took it in good spirits, tweeting afterwards that it showed his opponent had been the favourite. Sailor also took to Twitter to apologise for breaking Ross's arm. You couldn't watch, Frankie couldn't watch it.
I'm just in awe of the screen, that's all it was. I was more fascinated.
Would you take part in a competition like that?
Let's go, girl. I'm ready.
Okay, we'll do it afterwards.
No, you went shy now, didn't you?
Right, let's take a look at what's been getting the world's sporting attention on social media today. And all eyes have been on the former FIFA executive, Jack Warner, who posted this odd response, complete with dramatic music, to John Oliver after the popular comedian went on Trinidadian TV to ask Warner to reveal the files, the secret files. Let's have a look.
I don't need any advice from any comedian fool who doesn't know anything about this country to tell me what files to release and what not to release. That is none of his business. I take no instructions from him. And worse yet, I don't take any instructions from an American at this point in time.
Right. Okay, so what did you make of that video? What do you make of Jack Warner anyway?
Oof. He reminds me of every hierarchy person, not just in sport, but in politics and anything associated with the elites. Just a guy who puts on a front, but he's telling a false lie. So he's lost my trust, and I'm pretty sure he's lost a lot of trust.
Is he doing the right thing by posting all these videos, though?
If he feels it's working, who are we to judge? Obviously, if he thinks personally that's going to solve his situation, let him be, but time will tell his results of it.
Okay, we're going to have another look at what's been going on the social media.